Honestly, I'm not surprised by some of the bans. No way they don't get the Medusa ban here. No way they're gonna go ahead.
You're spectating the match, correct?
Yeah, I'm spectating.
Right, let me go right up in the so I can see it. I got it pulled up on another monitor just so I can try to watch the back end.
Okay, there you go.
Right, bro.
Now we're rocking and rolling officially.
There we go.
There's that Medusa ban. Yeah, no way they're gonna let that go in the first pick. Honestly, those are pretty good bans to start. Chonga's been doing really well, I feel like, out of mid and out of jungle, and she has like flex pick. Not surprised that Loshak is locking in that Cthulhu first pick.
I've seen a lot of people running the Cthulhu in recent matches. I don't really know this tech, because with the 9.5 rework, I would imagine his ult saw actually a bit of a hit to it, didn't it?
I don't know. I think he gets stronger with the patch, because then it's like, I mean, with Cthulhu, I mean, his items, he's gonna just be able to kill faster. You know what I mean? So then, like, he's just already gonna be tanky. He already just deals so much damage. His team fight presence is just massive. So I don't know. I think his laning phase probably got hurt a little bit with the patch, but I'm sure, you know, everyone's laning phases probably got hurt a little bit. The E-Shell did get by. I'm surprised they prioritized the Kukulkan ban over the E-Shell. That is probably best in slot mid laner or mage in mid lane for right now. At least in my opinion.
I think the Kukulkan does kind of surprise me, because if you know what you're taking into the solo lane with the Cthulhu, maybe they're just not comfortable with that matchup against the Kukulkan.
Right.
But typically in the games that I've played, if Mulan is banned out or Kukulkan is banned out, you'll see the others. So it might just be that mirror element.
Yeah, the Mulan is definitely going to look to get banned, in my opinion. Okay, the Camazot's a little... Yeah, the Camazot's and the Charon. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been seeing Charon return a lot, and I think it's just like...
Oh, yeah.
These low mobility mages.
Yeah, he punishes for sure. Like, I still think he's got like a high skill ceiling, so you don't see him a lot. But like when he comes out and you have someone that knows what they're doing on him, it is just like, oh my gosh, it's the root into the old, and then just all the silence, all the shields. It might. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think he's just really powerful from that driver's seat.
Oh,
he's not the greatest in most defensive engagements.
Yeah, he's a different. That is like the perfect way to explain it. Like, he's definitely your driver's seat type of like character to play. He's gonna be up in the front, and he's gonna definitely like dictate on how most of the team fights are gonna break down. The X ball, I do like some X ball going in there. I'm surprised that. I mean, I think the X ball is probably me. I'm an ADC main, so then like usually when that Medusa is down, like you're usually looking for like your Charybdis or like a gods that can really abuse like a lot of the attack speed items. But I guess they're looking for more of the team fight here with the X ball pick, in my opinion. Thor goes up, X ball ults, and then it's really from there it's just pray.
Exactly. I think that's a key element. Usually the Thor X-Ball ult combo is really, really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is also, like, I think that was the primary driver for picking up the X-Ball, but it also is really, really good for this counter initiation. Like with the Cthulhu, Camazotz, and Charon, they like those aggressive styles.
Oh, yeah.
So if you see Charon channeling ult, or Camazotz pops ult, or Cthulhu pops ult, you can throw an X-Ball out there, and that kind of disrupts
really engage. Okay, second bans are coming out. Bacchus is definitely. I'm interested they decided to ban the Bacchus this late. Oh, and the Umoja pick, man. Okay, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see that god that definitely hasn't seen a lot of play lately. But I mean, she's still Umoja. You know what I mean? She's still gonna split her team fights. A lot of walls running in, a lot of heals, so a lot of anti-healing should probably come in.
Especially with the shell as well.
Oh yeah.
Again, I think the Yomo is a really, really nice pickup, because it has that counter initiation. Like if Charon goes in and Kappa goes in, you throw up the River's Rebuke, and that separates the team fight pretty nicely.
Definitely shells are going to be looking to come out. And then there's the Cryptus. That's what I was trying to get towards with the ADC picks. Usually with your Medusa band. Me, I always slam lock my Artemis. That's just what I've been going for. But the X-Ball Cryptus, probably some crit builds are going to come out here. King Arthur, I'm not surprised to see them there. I've been waiting to see a matchup like that, Cthulhu into King Arthur. Especially looking into the new patch. This is the older... I'm not sure when new patch hits, but that's definitely going to be a contested lane for those two.
The only gripe that I have about the picks in advanced phase, I'm a support guy, I love my Yamuja picks. I would have looked for that in the fifth slot to try to bait in something that can escape. Because the mid laner and the ADC pickup in the second phase both can escape from that ultimate pretty easily. So, not a huge amount of value, but you still see that from it.
Yeah, and the Kamazot's comfort pick, I feel like it's more of a comfort pick. And it's going to be good to get out of the emo walls. Get away from the shell ult. Cryptus is gonna the change on Cryptus has really, in my opinion, just like pushed her to one of those like top 5 ADCs in slot, getting that little CC immunity on the Whirlpool, and then Nuwa is just gonna farm damage. If the game goes late, I do feel like blue team might scale a little bit harder with the Nuwa and the Cryptus, but red team they're definitely matching some of that pressure with their also with their mid laner and ADC as well. So I think this is absolutely a good match.
I think that you see a lot of dive, but a good amount of safety from the blue side as well. The new one, the Cryptus can get out. I think though, if you don't have the new one, you have a global ult. So if the initiation goes in a new one, you can't really be out of position for that engage.
Right.
But if you get that separation with Thor, King Arthur, a Xbalanque even diving into your bag, it could spell trouble. So I think the initiation needs to be really, really good.
You're definitely going to see a lot of initiation out of the blue team, that's for sure. Especially if it's on an even game. Honestly, a lot of the things that I've been seeing some new WoW players do is they just go just like your full proc item and proc all your items, proc on your first ability cast, and then just cast your ult right before the team fight starts. So then their carries are essentially half HP right when it starts instead of saving it towards the end, for that last hit. I feel like Noah gets more value that way. A little bit harder on the CC, I believe. I do think red team has a little bit more easy confirmable CC, and blue team has a little bit more like CC that they have to commit to. With the Chiron dash and
the Chiron ult, the Blue ult, Cryptus ult. They don't really have a whole lot of control. Right. I think they're going to look for those bursty kind of combos for sure.
Right.
But that's where the red team has their strength in this. Is they have strong disengage through the X-Ball, through the Emoji ult, great tools for keeping the shell alive with Throne and Ultimate, and I believe it's the 2 of the movement speed.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very safe comp. So I think if red can play on the back foot and just really look for those counterpunch, maybe try to bait the initiation, they could see a lot of success. They can play that well.
Yeah, strengths and weaknesses on both sides. It should come down to a lot of things. Should probably come down to your farming too, because then people are just going to look to get items online as soon as possible. If red team doesn't really get those, those power spikes, they're not really going to hit as hard. They're going to lean a lot on that healing. But if the blue team managed to get their anti-healing on as quickly as possible, then it's probably that healing is not going to come through as much as we would like for the red team. So people are loading in. Let's see here. Maybe a little bit better. Seems like my WASD is not. There we go. Alright. Oh, wait, how do I free mic?
In the bottom right, the little arrow. Pull that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see where my mouse is.
I think it's alter space you have to hold to bring it
Oh,
up.
I think it's space.
Shift, control, something like that.
We got the surrender vote already going up.
Ban skin, potentially?
Probably. Maybe something like that. I'll try to just like kind of go with what I have right now. I don't know.
Let me check the default settings if I can.
Yeah, if you could try to see where, so we can at least like do quick lock on some of the on some of the gods. Yeah, I think some of the settings have probably changed from the last video that I watched. Or it might be set. It might still be set to a to controller settings, and I probably forgot to switch it over to mouse and keyboard.
I have my default for free mouse as spacebar.
Yeah, it should be spacebar. I don't know why it's not coming up.
Could you pull up your settings and see on your end?
Here, let's see. Yeah, it's not. Maybe I'm able. Maybe I'll have to try to see if I can leave the match and rejoin it. It's not even giving me the option to do that. So we'll just kind of stick with what we have. I'm sure it'll probably one match and we'll be probably get through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably hover mostly around like mid. Because that's probably where most of the fights are going to come down. We're really going to be looking around this beacon. That's where a lot of teams are going to really look to force some of those fights. I wish we could get items up. Let's see here. Okay, everyone else is not dead. My WASD isn't allowing me to move. Okay. Here. Oh, I think we got something there. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. A little difficulty there. A little crash. We'll get it back up here in a second. Some small technical difficulties, but we'll get it back right here in a moment. Let me switch this over to mouse and keyboard settings just to play it safe. Whoop. Whoop. All right, let's get back in there. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so
I'll need you to throw it back up in Discord again, just so I can
yes.
keep it in real time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
10-4, 10-4.
That is a 10-4, good buddy.
Hell yeah, brother. And there we are.
Alright, so no first blood just yet. I mean, the match still hasn't started, so this is probably working out just fine. Let's see here. Okay, I'm still not getting a free mouse. then let's see here. Yeah, I'm still not getting free mouse. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we got the free mouse.
Rocking and rolling.
All right,
Grooving.
so let's bring it back.
If you go to assisted, it should work a little neater.
Where? Which one?
The bottom right, the little arrow.
This one.
Pull that tab up.
This one right.
In the very bottom right, you have that little arrow tab.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
a little
yeah,
hidden
yeah,
box.
yeah.
And then change free cam to assisted.
Yeah, we definitely want that to be assisted. Yeah.
Do you have a numpad on your keyboard?
I do have a numpad, yes.
0 through 4 will be
Yeah,
the
that's what we're
order
looking
side.
for.
Flip through those.
Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
And then I do remember we can do it as directed as well. So some pinks coming out. Everyone's kind of normal starts. Conduits out of Nuwa. We actually have a here. I think we can. Wish you could move some of our things so where the mid laners are lining up. But then standard starts. You have your Santa Time coming out of the E-Shell, which is you know, kind of
Nothing out of the ordinary.
yeah,
Probably
nothing
go for
out of
that
the
alternate.
ordinary. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Most likely our X-Ball here is going to go crit, and we might see more of a attack speed build out of the Charybdis. Conduit start on the Cthulhu, so that's going to be, you know, probably interesting. He's going to be looking to really fight, like really just like a lot, you know, in that solo lane, look to poke a lot, and so is that King Arthur.
The benevolence on the Charon, I think, is a little weird. I feel like the supports flip their starter items.
Yeah, I have been
Benevolence
seeing
is
more
really
of that.
good on your
Yeah,
motion.
I actually have been seeing more of the benevolence start. You know, that HP shield that comes out comes really in handy whenever you're just like hugging on top of your ADCs. It really just allows them to, you know, play a little bit more aggressively and not get as punished. So we're most likely going to look around like mid and around duo lane, at least to start. Let's see if we can get our HP bars up, because the Cthulhu is under tower here. Yeah, he's probably
If you
got
go to
poked out
that
pretty
assisted,
far.
I think it should show it
Yeah, let's see here.
in that
We're
bottom,
looking at-
in the bottom right. You still have it on free cam.
Oh yeah.
And that actually took away all of your stuff.
Yeah, that took away a lot of things here. We'll just look for player damage, and then just try to keep an eye out for. I was liking the free cam because it's allowing us to kind of like look
Fly
on the
around a
far
little
end.
more.
Yeah, you know, look around on the far
For sure.
end. Yeah, because then Cthulhu is probably looking to get, it's getting kind of pressured out here. We might see a gank coming in from the Thor. And see
More
if
than
we
likely,
probably
he is
call
pretty
out
safe
from
under
there.
his
Yeah, he's
tower.
pretty safe under the tower. Oh, he actually managed to
Getting
get
pulled.
pushed out. Oh, first blood actually gonna go in mid. So then the Camazot's, you know, that's pretty good. You know, I
They went
guess
for
we'll-
those left mids, came back, Thor
Yeah.
thought about a cheeky gank over in the right lane.
That's the one thing with mid laners around that level 2, around that level 3. If your jungler's not going to be there and it's going to look for a gank in solo or in duo, you're definitely going to be looking to play back and on top into your tower. So our camo's probably just going to hover here. We'll see if we'll get something kind of a bait. They're going to try to get them to fall back off of their tower. But calls are probably coming through. They're probably going to play, you know, back. They probably know that the camo is around there, or probably still think that the camo is around there. A lot of damage coming in off of the X-Ball right now. He's really making use of his passive. Just looking to poke the wave. You know, with those autos, he's probably going to max that one first, and just look to just get autos off with those branching bolas. We have a fight that's breaking out over here, and on the solo side, we're probably just some soft hovering. E-Shell has to be careful here. She's a little out of position, and she's definitely going to get, there goes first blood and the second blood over to the blue team. They're going to get these mids.
Both are on that E-shell as well. Her
Yeah.
positioning just seems a little too aggressive.
Just a little too aggressive on the E-shell. That Doom Orb is definitely going to be pushed back quite a bit. Ward's coming out, pretty decent ward coverage from the blue team. They have those. They're really hovering over that right side Harpies camp. Duo's got their wards up as well. The Thor hasn't managed to get into any scrums at all so far. He's probably going to look to engage a little bit more now that his ult is up. He might look towards Duo side after he picks up his speed and resets, most likely for that Jotun's Wrath first item.
Usually that's what you see, is the Thor doesn't really want to engage till he has that ult.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the Camazotz is making use of that early Kama pressure.
I wouldn't be surprised if Thor looks over towards this duo lane side. If you can get your ADC and your support into that late game stage earlier, it would do wonders. And the blue team's just kind of really jamming.
I thought a little bit of
good fight.
Good fight coming in out of here. The wave comes out and managed to be enough damage that's going to actually knock down the X-Ball. Good fight coming out of there. Unfortunate that the Charybdis was also looking for the fight as well on her ult to get that last hit, but hey, riding that wave with the Charon, he's definitely gonna get that. He's gonna feel nice.
Takes up the full wave. There's no, or the full lane.
Yeah, the full lane. There's no escaping it, right? Okay, so we're looking at another here.
Aries-ult.
Oh man, that the E-shell is just getting baited a little bit there. She thought she had pretty good aggression on the Camazotz there, and there comes the Thor ult. He's looking for the counter engage. No, he's not gonna look for the wall. He does get the beads out of the Nuwa. And the Nuwa seems to be going a bit more for a kind of a. She goes for that tier 2 of the Cursed Orb. She does get the passive off of that, which is pretty nice. And she's probably just going to look. She's a little far up. She's probably going to get ulted here.
Emoja with the kill?
No, she's not. She's going to manage to squeak out. But yeah, as we were saying, that Nuwa's probably just going to look to get that Spear of Desolation, or she's probably just going to go ahead and rush that Divine Ruin. One of those two items are probably going to come out from her. Probably a smart idea to go ahead and get that early, since she knows that she's already going to need it. Aggressive ward vision coming in out of the red team. They got a ward over there by that red buff to kind of get some of these camera rotates. The Charybdis putting a lot of damage in on the X-Ball there. Yes, and I can see she's going to be maxing that 3, or maxing that 1 couple points into her 2. And that's going to just create a lot of pressure there. That's one thing.
Camazotz was looking for it.
He's looking for it. And he manages to secure his red buff. Let's see here. That's unfortunate. Yeah, he does get the red buff, or the purple buff. You know, he at least gets some of his farm, but this Kama is starting to look like he's going to run away with a little bit. You got very good leads in your in your mid and solo, or mid and jungle right now. That's for sure.
Kama's also just a character you really don't want to let snowball. He's powerful in that middle early game because of his sustain with his passive.
For sure.
So just letting him run the map right now is gonna really.
It's gonna be a little nerve wracking. Him and the Nuwa are definitely looking sitting pretty right now. 2 kills on the board for each of them. They also secure the Bull Demon King. Starting to acquire quite the gold lead right now. 2K, slowly building up to that 3K lead. The red team is going to have to look to play at least a little bit safer. But here we have another fight breaking out. I don't know if they're going to get the Riptide. She should be safe to get out. She might have to use the Emoja ult. There goes the ult from the E-Shell. The Kama goes in just to get a little bit more damage off. They're going to look for a reset here. Blue team's a little bit poked out. I don't think that they're going to get much going from there. The King Arthur is kind of holding out on his own. He's level 9. He's kind of their saving grace right now for the red team. And the E-Shell falls down again. That's really unfortunate. She finally gets her Doom Orb online. But I'm sure the Nuwa is going to back and is essentially sitting 2 items on top of her. That's going to be very scary. Yeah, Thor Dunk is
and a River's Rebuke, both just kind of used to trap people a little bit more, but bit off the mark.
Yeah.
The Nuwa's a little safe.
Yeah, a little safe right there.
Speedy.
Yeah, oh yeah. And there's that Divine Ruin. She's going to be looking to get those ults off more. and that's probably why she was able to get out. The crib this hits the ult. Nope, gets the beads out of the X ball, and they're looking to hover here, and she gets her back off. Well, blue team playing the map really well. Yeah, blue team.
Such disrespect on that back.
Oh yeah,
right in front of the tower.
Yeah, you hate to see that one right there. It's man. But,
especially when you know you have your Thor and your Mojo walking over.
Yeah, they're
just
sitting
stay here,
there.
just stay here.
Yeah, if Thor was up, maybe they would have had it there, but those
expended
cooldowns expended, and he does have a little bit of cooldown, so it'll be back up relatively soon. But let's see here. I guess we can look to see
XP difference.
Yeah, XP difference, or what I'm looking for is XP difference and gold difference. Yeah, they're looking at. Oh, we have another team fight breaking out here. The Cthulhu's finally up, and the Yemo does fall down. They're pressuring over here towards into their red buff. Kappa is going to go ahead and secure, or actually the mid laner is going to secure that extra kill on the Thor. And they might be able to look here on the King Arthur. If he falls down, that's going to be very bad for the red team. She's definitely going to have to look to back in mid. That's a lot of damage coming out of that new ult, and she's not going to get the back off in time. She's also going to fall down here as well. Nice little heal to buy some time, but it's definitely not enough when you have two tanky targets in front of you and the damage dealer of that new wall. They're going to look for a gold. That is a very smart play. You have red team coming out of base. Blue team looks to group up. The Cthulhu is also here to make sure that they have some extra safety. The Emo is going to look for a little clear over the wall. She does show herself, make her presence known. She's most likely looking for her ult here, but it's not going to come up in time. They're going to go ahead and wipe this down and secure that Gold Fury. They're going to look to reset. Red team is really just looking for farm here on the map. They should take advantage of the blue back here. Those Harpy camps are up. Waves are coming in. They still manage to keep their tower, but then once this Spire comes up, it's going to be looking really dicey for them. Those towers are going to start falling down. The Thor is actually with a cheeky invade. He's on the other side of the map. He might look for the Nuwa here. He does go in and get the beads. Oh my gosh, the damage from the 3 and the Kappa. I respect it. You know what I mean? I respect it. He's trying to get some stuff on the map, and it's not looking great for them.
You got to get some traction.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it. The kill count is looking pretty rough right now. 11 in favor of the blue team. The gold difference is starting to rack up. 3,600 gold. They're going to start looking for Fire Giant territory. They're going to go ahead and knock down this Bull Demon King. Get that Ward Vision. And, actually, they're going to look to save it. They're looking to play the defense. I do like how Red is looking to play here. But the E-Shell has to be a little bit careful. Thor's coming in on the back end. Oh, wall off the mark. The Kappa's in. But he's just going to go ahead and walk out of there. He's got a lot of life steal on there. He's just going to go find some camp and just immediately be back at full HP.
Decent rotations out of Chaos side, but I really don't think they want to be taking this fight.
Yeah, they definitely
King
don't.
Arthur's pretty big,
They're definitely
they're
grouping
still
up
under level.
Yeah, and they're looking to get the fight start off early. That's a decent Umoja ult. The Nuwa does manage to get out. That is unfortunate, and the E-Shell does fall. The Thor actually gets the double tap, and it's going to find him under the tower. And actually, the Thor is going to get out. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to go ahead and fall down as well.
A little late on that ult.
A little late on the ult, and there comes the lockdown. They're going to go ahead and secure this Spire. That's a lot of teams got to be out and aware for that. A lot of fights come around these first or second Spires. They're definitely going to knock down that tier 1 in duo, and they're going to just go ahead and throw those leads. The pings are coming out. They're going to get 2 towers here. Yep, 2 towers do fall down. The red team does have a decent amount of wards. They're going to look to get this Bull Demon King. Go ahead and expand that gold lead. We are looking at about a 5k difference right now. That is rough. A lot of ults that were being used. Kappa still has his. So he's definitely going to be looking to engage soon. The X-Ball ult is probably not getting too much of value. They are looking for a lot of things and just not seeming to get them, the red team. They are showing up for the defense, which is admirable, but...
The Order side's been doing a lot of what we talked about in the picks and bans, what
Right.
this team wants to do and that
Right.
they need to do to win. Just being the constant aggression in your face style. They've been doing it really, really well.
Yes.
But there's been no organized defense.
I
The
completely
Rivers
agree.
Rebuke, the Thor Dunk, the X-Ball ult, the big three counter initiate or
Yeah.
deterrents that we were talking about, they haven't really been synced
Haven't
up.
had the
or
chance to use
used
them.
in those initiations.
Yes, I completely agree. That is one thing that they had to be prepared for was was really the dive that was looking to come out from the red team. So then look at that. That Nuwa is just getting that damage value off of that Divine Ruin. She's actually just keeping the flat pin coming, which is probably a very great idea. Abuse that level lead that she has. She doesn't really need that do more right now. Go ahead and shut down that that healing out of red team early, and we're gonna see a little group around the Gold Fury.
A global ult into a team that only has one Sanctuary, or Aegis as well, is not going to hurt those
The
teams.
Thor's not going to get out. The Thor's not going to get out, and the E-Shell is also going to fall as well. There goes the Charybdis, though. She does manage to land on it. Decent damage coming out of the Nuwa, but that tanky Yemoja is looking well. She's got that full Thieves online. Unfortunately, they do get the Yemoja ult as well, and blue team should be able to secure this Primal Fury. And
That was a good Rivers Rebuke by Umoja to try to get herself out. Maybe if position it a little bit earlier, could have saved another teammate. But it's starting to look at what we need from that team to turn it around. Those counter initiation, the safety.
And honestly, a lot of the builds are coming out pretty standard. I'm surprised that the Charybdis is going both for crit. It's interesting. I'm seeing both ADCs decide to go for the Aussie and Rage start. Kind of a slower start, in my opinion, as an ADC main. But then, hey, if you're on that blue team, you're feeling good as Charybdis. You've got 2 stacks already online, and she's most likely going to get that dominance. Tanks are most likely not going to be able to stand in front of her. So hopefully the X-Ball can try to bounce back a little bit, but we shall see on how that goes. I actually don't like, speaking of some builds, I liked a lot of the builds that were coming out, but I'm actually not liking the Karen's coin on the E-Shell. You're not really getting that mini assist. Your team is kind of struggling a little bit right now in this match, just putting it frank. It's going to be very challenging for her to get those stacks online to get that percent pin that she's looking for. But who knows?
I get the idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
I get the idea behind it because it does provide that movement speed and that percent pen, like you touched on.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a matter of, like you said, they're not getting those kills or the assists.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little tough for her and their X-Ball to get their damage online because they are really depending on their team to get some of that disengage going for them and locking down some of these targets. The Nuwa ult comes up and they're most likely just getting vision. Blue team doesn't have too many wards on the right side of the map, so there's most likely what they're using that Nuwa ult for, just to see on where the whereabouts of the red team are.
With how the farm in the jungle's shaping out as well, I would be surprised if Order doesn't look to try to play for this Fire Giant.
Oh, of course.
Just lean towards...
Honestly, yeah, I would agree. I would say lean into that lead as much as possible, but it looks like there's going to be a grouping over in left lane. They're most likely going to look to group and fall back around the mid. TP's coming out of the King Arthur. There's most likely going to be a fight around here. They're looking for this tower over the Spire first. This duo lane has to watch out. They're a little aggressive. There comes the X-Ball ult. Not really too much value with that. Probably would have looked to waited in case the team fight actually broke out proper and the the ult actually comes out of the Charybdis too. Both ADCs are going to burn their ults a little bit preemptively, but then we're going to look what breaks out over this mid lane. Looks like they're going to surrender over this Spire. That's going to rack up some of that damage on those towers. We're going to look to see if the team fight breaks out from here. No, they're just...
It just seems to be a bit of a disconnect between the Thor and the Xbalanque, because we talked about the strength of those two ultimates syncing up.
I'll hold that thought. The Yumo ult comes out. Not too much pressure there, and they're going to look to kind of push back a little bit. The King Arthur is stepping up, but it doesn't really look like they're going to get much. And I agree with you. It just seems like there's a disconnect on some of the engage from the red team. The Thor managed to get up. He barely gets out alive. And then here comes the Cthulhu. The E-Shell falls down again. She's just a little bit too far ahead. And the Cthulhu is raining damage on the red team here. A lot of damage coming out of him. They're going to push past the T2, dive a little bit into the Phoenix, and manage to get a double kill there. Both the solo laner and the mid laner falls. The Camazotz is way in deep. He really wants the fall there, the kill there on the Thor, and the doesn't manage to get it. Actually, he was looking on the Yemo. He does create a lot of space. They do get a mid Phoenix, and the Thor still might fall here if the Cthulhu can get in close enough. Then it might be enough. Oh, there goes the Aegis. And yep, that saves his life. Man, I don't know why the red team is stepping into this right now. They are fighting into a level 19 and a level 18 carries out of the blue team. It just goes back. Yeah, I think it just goes back to what you were saying. It just feels like there's a disconnect out of the red team, and the blue team is just firing on all cylinders now. Not to take too much over of what you're saying, closing out what I'm saying, their items are looking great on blue team. That Rage is fully stacked up. She's most likely going to get that Deathbringer, and really honestly, I don't know how their tanks could stand in front of them at this point.
It's just really depressing to see a Rage with 0 stacks on Jibalanke and a Charon squad with 0 stacks on
late into the game. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I definitely believe that that's probably the right build to go for. If you're on E-Shell, I don't play too much E-Shell, so I'm sure the build slaps. It's just a little bit rough on those positionings. And it just got, I believe she got it when she was already at like level 12, and it's already, I don't know, just the way that the match is going, I probably just would have went a little bit different on that. But good items are coming out of essentially everyone. Your the support on blue team, the Charon is picking up that spectral armor in case the X-Ball does manage to get a little bit online. A lot of power pin coming out of that Thor. Blue team's going to look to go ahead and push the envelope on this Fire Giant. Thor is up. He's going to look down, and maybe he was just getting out. Maybe there was a little bit of pressure, disengage coming out of him. So then they're going to forfeit this Fire Giant. That's definitely going to be a free FG for the blue team. They're going to look to probably most likely push down these towers and slowly push this game to an end.
I'm not terribly, they still got the Fire Giant and all, but I thought Order would try to push this envelope a little bit more. They got the Oni Fury right away, and then they just kind of danced on their back camps a little bit. You have Oni Waves in mid, you have Oni Waves pushing sides and Fire Oni Wave in mid. Yep. You really should be looking for that Fire Giant fight.
Who knows? Maybe the 5v5 group up might work out in the Chaos side Order. That'll give them the time to actually play to a disengage, and that's a great emo ult to cut off the back line of the Order team. The Camazotz is going to go ahead and ult out. Decent heals coming out of the E-Shell, but then it's going to be a soft reset. They might look to regen a little bit up off this Fire Giant. The heals are definitely going to come in favor of the Chaos side here. There goes another new ult. Oh man, that new ult is looking to slap. And they're actually a disengage. Actually, no, the Fog, they're going to walk in. There comes the Cthulhu ult, and the blue team are going to push into this Phoenix. Thor's looking for the disengage. There's no way that Thor's going in. The blue team is looking very healthy. Shell coming out. The Cthulhu is up and raining in on the carries. Early Aegis out of the E-Shell, and it gets punished by the Camazotz. They're going to look to push into this Titan here. They definitely can do it. We definitely have ults probably still up out of the Chaos team. Actually, no, all ults are down. The minions are in, and that Fog and the Nuwa damage is just doing way too much damage. Honestly, their level difference is very, very different in favor of the Order team. And they're just looking to just go ahead and pat some of those stats. They're going to knock down that Yemo, make it an official deicide, and there goes your match 1.
The blue team did what we talked about in the picks and bans phase. You see aggression out of the Camo, the Charon, and the Cthulhu, the safety from the Cryptus and the Nuwa, and they just played around it super well.
Honestly, played that team comp perfectly. I think so as well. Rain those fire on the Nuwa ults. She's sitting top of the damage line at 30,000 there. Let's see some of our stats and details. Honestly, I do like a little bit of a breakdown here. Our Charybdis did pretty good, but really a lot of the shining is coming out from, I would say, so from the mid laner and the jungler from the Chaos side. The Camazotz, the Camazotz really just did a lot of work, made a lot of pressure on all stages of the game in multiple different lanes. Who knows? Maybe the red team can bounce back a little bit off of that, and maybe get a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Unified in their identity on what they're doing, on what they're looking for. It just seemed like they were a little bit discombobulated from the aggression from the Order team.
Absolutely. I like I said, I really liked the comp that they had elected to go for with the Emoja, the Thor, the Xbalanque.
Yeah, I thought it was
but
good.
They just need to sync up those big.
They just missed a little bit of a sync is how I would just put it. So then it seems like they're getting queued up for the next match here. Let's go ahead and just get that in. 1 second. Let's see here. Let's see. Please press this one. Okay, then we're just really just waiting for, there we go, we're back in that match again. And then honestly things might be a little bit different here now that the sides are switched. I think that gives over the first pick maybe over to the blue side this time. So we're gonna see on some of those bans. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Cthulhu ban here, some priority bans on some of those picks. Some of those picks looked really strong, especially out of the Camazotz. Nope, they're gonna go for that Chang'e, which is probably a really good idea. I guess Chang'e has been farming some matches, and they're like, we definitely don't want to deal with that. The Lancelot.
You got the flex into jungle and mid as well.
Oh yeah,
Chang'e's a mid,
oh yeah, I definitely think that she could probably flex almost just about anywhere if you're good enough. And then Lancelot coming in out of the red team. I think that Lancelot, he did see a little bit of nerfs, but honestly, I just think he's going to be having the best team fight ult out of your assassin tab. Mulan.
This is what I didn't want to see from the Order side. The Mulan and the Cthulhu, they are the two power picks in the solo lane for sure.
Probably.
The Cthulhu looks strong, to be fair, but I feel like that's a manageable thing. They first picked it. They didn't have the option for the Cthulhu and the Mulan.
Yes.
But that Camazotz...
Then there goes,
that's what I wanted.
There's that Camazotz.
I can't call an answer.
Yeah, I could definitely agree.
The amount of space he made with that.
Yes, I definitely agree. And the Medusa ban is going to lock that out on your first ban phase. And to go back on what you were saying, I could agree with some of that. Maybe if they look to get that Cthulhu, maybe you kind of look to grab the Mulan yourself. So maybe it would have been probably interesting to keep that Mulan up, especially if you were looking for a counter pick. But then it seems like they're going to first lock the Tsukiyomi. That's a lot of dive that they are sending in on a first pick, and the E-Shell Cthulhu, red team is gonna take that for their own and see what they can do with it in their hands.
I'm not a particularly fond person of Tsukiyomi.
It is a bit ambitious, I will say, to have that as the first pick. But they're going to follow it up with an Agni, and honestly, I love the Suitor build. I think Suitor is a little bit of a slept-on god in the solo lane. Brings a lot of damage.
For sure.
Maybe the team fight presence might be a little bit off, but the laning phase I do think is very strong. Charon's going to lock in. It's believe that's going to be another of the support pick for the red team, and they're going to follow up with that same Terra and Bacchus ban and some actually prioritized ban out of the Charybdis, and they're going to actually ban away the Thor. I don't know if they are looking to see if that's going to super hard counterplay into their team comp. But yeah, those are your bans, and I believe that brings it up to the red team for their next pick.
I like the Surtur pickup. He's good at the initiation. The Agni can definitely get in.
Oh yes, yes, I do think that
too. I still want more aggression with this Tsukuyomi though.
Yeah, I do believe that the blue team is looking to take matters into their own hands with that first two picks. Agni is going to essentially be able to set up and peel for himself if he needs to. And then the Surtur and the Tsukuyomi might be a little bit of a solo agent in these team fights. Once he goes in, it's basically like, hey, I'm in, and there's no turning back. So it's probably nice that they get a get block in to maybe give him a little bit of peel to get out of there. But it might be a little bit difficult to lock down this Raven. Hopefully their jungler does not have another breakout performance like that first match.
If Order wanted to go for that counter initiation kind of support, the safety that they have with the Geb, I think a Khepri might have done a little bit better.
Just
throw a Khepri ult on Suk, just pull him back out. But I don't hate Geb. Geb provides a lot of control and a lot of support, which they were lacking in the last. Set.
Definitely a Geb believer over here. And then they're gonna close out those picks with a Chiron and an Uller. Honestly, I love Chiron. I think Chiron is also another one of those sleeper 80s, or not even a sleeper, one of those I should say contested ADCs once the Medusa is banned. Really just looking a lot of safety, a lot of peel, cleanses on the blue team. They're looking very good on their team comps. A lot of secure with the Chiron and the Tsukuyomi ults to kind of match so the Tsukuyomi doesn't go in alone. And then the red team, they are looking to just probably flex some of those preferred gods with that Uller lock-in. Who knows? Maybe it's just one of those types of games. If you're really feeling yourself, you lock in the Uller and you're just putting on a montage. I'm sure we've all have experienced or been there before.
I do like the aggression coming out of Chaos again.
Yes.
They did draft a pretty safe backline with Ishel, who really have their own disengage tools, their own sustain tools. But again, that core three of the solo support and jungle, they are aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And the range that their backline has,
they're
going to try and run it down again.
I definitely could see that in the forecast. This Cthulhu Charon just double combo just makes it very, very difficult to play into. Even when ults are down, you have your massive kind of like root, with the Cthulhu, and then you also have another route to follow up with the Charon. But then once those ults come up and then the knockups come out and the fear from the wave, it just makes it very, very hard to disengage or fight into, whenever those two gods are ready to go. So then go ahead.
That's what I'm going to look for in this Order side too. Is they have drafted a more aggressive comp than last time. We talked about all the counter initiation tools.
Right.
So the counter initiation, it never really synced up. It never really aligned. So maybe if they try this more aggressive style with the Surtur, the Agni, the Tsukuyomi for sure, maybe we see that balance change and it's just aggression matched with aggression, fire with fire.
That is what I would like. You put it perfectly. That fighting fire with fire, because I think you might see a lot of a Tsukuyomi dive followed up by the Chiron ult, especially if the Surtur and Geb manages to get into a little bit of the back line and get some of those ultimates off. The Geb stun or knockups will really just make a layup slam dunk for the Chiron ult. And then the Agni, if this Agni manages to free cast and this Raven doesn't manage to get on top of him, the Chaos side could be having a lot of things stacked up against them.
I think the big concern that is going to repeat itself in this game again is how quickly can they blow up that Cthulhu.
Right.
Because
Right.
Chiron and Agni, they're very, very good at burst,
Right.
but they're more for like secure, not really
Yes.
that consistent damage
Yeah,
that's going to
it's-
really shred down a Cthulhu.
Yeah, you're definitely looking at a lot of burst damage from the Order side, so a little bit of that burn might come a little bit lacking. So definitely going to see some Soul Reavers or some Heart Seekers out of the blue team, and who knows, it might just be their game to go ahead and tie up this match.
I would love to see a game 3 and see the changes
Oh yeah,
that happen. With
oh
that,
yeah, game 3 would be sick. We love those back and forth games here.
But I'm a certified Suicator. I don't think it's going 3. I'd love to see it.
Oh,
I'd love
man.
to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and say, once a believer, always a believer. Sometimes those believers stay in the chat and they just never give up. So, who knows? So then, most likely, we are going to see some kind of standard items here. Probably Santa times on our mid laners. They're going to look to span those abilities as much as possible, especially with those Agni and those Agni bombs. And probably ability based damage coming out of our ADCs with your Uller and your Chiron. It'll be interesting to see on what this Tsukiyomi looks to build. He's probably just going to go for your hyper damage, hyper late game damage, and maybe just try to get the one shot off. But the Agni actually going for the conduit gem. Maybe he's just looking for some just burst damage on that initial stun with the Agni bomb.
I like the idea because we talked about how they're trying to gear more towards that aggressive style.
Right.
But the Agni suffered a lot last game with their positioning. They do have a dash this time, so maybe that'll help keep them alive.
E-shell, right. Maybe
But
that'll
Agni
be a
cooldown
little bit easier for them. Yeah.
Agni cooldown.
Yeah, I would like a little bit more on the cooldown for Agni. So who knows? He might go into this the Divine Ruin or the Spear of Deso. Definitely looking for that flat pin first item. That's pretty common out of most mages. Bluestone pendants on your ADCs, and then your Warrior's Axe into. I'm not sure what this suitor is going to go for. His build might be a little bit spicy. So then we're going to see here how it matches up into the Cthulhu. But I do like how this Cthulhu here with this Vibrant Shard, this is one thing, this one starter, or I guess, what do you call it? Your,
Tier 1?
No, your, what do they call these?
Relics.
Or your relics, or yeah, I think it's still considered a relic. I do like how I am starting to see other gods build that Vibrant Shard, just to get that extra burst damage on that first cast of your ability. So minions come out here, standard starts, ADCs pulling their green over to their supports to do their purple buffs, and all together the same out of the mid and jungles, and solo laners soloing their blue buffs and walking into wave. Cthulhu goes for a little bit of a safer start, or they both look to go for the safer start to pulling it on the backside of the tower. The shooter's going to clear it a little bit faster because he has that warrior damage.
The only thing I can think this Surtur's going for with the Blessed Scepter is going to be a Caduceus Cloak, because he's not going to get the passive value off of Vital Amplifier or Sekhmet Scepter.
Right.
Unless it procs off of his passive, I don't think it would.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I've been seeing a lot of attack speed Suitor. I can't say. I'll definitely say that I've built it myself, every now and then, and it does slap quite a bit. But then we shall see a little bit of aggression coming in out of the Robin. We kind of expected that. They are going to be a little bit poked out, but they do manage to get their full wave clear, and they're going to kind of go ahead and have a truce on those Harpy camps. One team gets the other, and it's honestly looking a little bit in favor of the red team here. They are going to have a little bit more pressure in duo lane, so they're probably just going to look to kind of safe farm over there. Not too much pressure going on. in either lanes. So really just like
Already, I really like an adaptation that Order Side has made from game 1 to game 2.
Yes.
We saw that the jungle rotated immediately after hitting that level 3 spike,
yes.
and it dropped First Blood on the mid lane. Sticking
Right.
with that guy, mid laner, making sure that he's a little bit safer. I like that change a lot.
Right, I agree. So then we are looking here at our first gank, maybe by our Raven. They're going to look to see if they can kind of pressure them into the lane and bait them back a bit. Nope,
I think taking a Naga here is good. Yeah, just taking the Naga, taking it back, take the farm you can.
And then here comes that dive on the E-Shell. I do like that. They do get the beads out of her, which is looking pretty nice. And then they're going to come back here and get these Harpies up again. The junglers are going to most likely look to reset. Camps are coming back up for their second go-around. And they have their, I don't know what they call these camps, but you're kind of your Elder Harpies or...
masks.
Yeah, your mask camps. Solo lane might be getting ganked here by the Raven. Nope, I think he did walk over a ward or maybe hurt him in the jungle, or he's actually going to get the root, and there goes the First Blood. It goes over to the Cthulhu. That's might be a little bit tough. That's very unfortunate timing with the blue buff coming up, and they also get a kill over in duo lane. The Tsukiyomi might be able to save the blue buff with the help of the tower there, but then very good looks out of the Chaos team, pushing that aggression early as we kind of expected them to do here.
That's a huge gank by the Ravana there. Surtur's big safety is his ultimate, so right before he takes over to that level 5 and has access to that safety,
here comes a regank, and the Cthulhu manages to get his ult up, but managed to get out with the Suitor. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No worries.
Yeah,
that's exactly
close.
What I was talking about.
Yeah, very close. Yeah, very close. A lot of pressure being put in on the solo laner here. And you might be right about that item that's being built on the Suitor here. You might be looking to just get that extra HP online to hopefully make him a little bit easier to survive ganks like that, like he's already done. Then we just have a little bit of a stalemate here. Our teams are going to be looking to pick up as much neutral farm as possible. Dual lane seems to be really pushing them in. And man, this Robin is really looking to camp this solo lane side. He does have his ultimate up this time. He uses it, and he's going to knock down the Suitor again and walks over the ward and everything. A lot of people, they say maybe that ward would have saved his life. And another duo kill comes out. These side lanes are really just pushing in.
Tsukiyomi's in there too, trying to find a kill.
Yeah, the Tsukiyomi's finally coming in and making a little bit of pressure on the other side of the map. You'd like to see it. There's a little bit of that fire with fire, and he does hit the masterful ult on the Uller there. You do like to see that blue team coming back with a little bit of fight back, a little bit of punch back, and you definitely like to see that.
I think the Tsukiyomi pickup was really good for them because, as we talked about, the counter initiation wasn't there game 1. This aggression style, it seems to be paying off a little bit more than last.
He says, "Forget it, I'll do it myself," and it takes matters into his own hands. He does get an assist and put 2 onto the Chiron, who gets that Jotun's item, first item, which is really nice. You see a lot of ADC builds come in with that Jotun's first item, cooldown, mana, flat pin. It's really what you like to see. But the Raven is going to match some of that aggression back. He does get the immunity on the stun. The Tsukiyomi has to be a little bit careful here, and he dies to the autos. That's very unfortunate. And they're going to look for another blue buff invade. They're really playing the map well, the red team is, and they've managed to get the Suitor ult also and the blue buff. This Cthulhu has got to be feeling pretty good right now. He's gotten probably 4 blue buffs to his name, 2 from the Order side, and they go ahead and grab this Bull Demon King and try to push that gold lead just a little bit farther into their favor. Still in favor of the Chaos team, slowly approaching that 1,000k lead. Items are definitely coming on board a little bit more so now, and the Agni does go for that Divine Ruin. We kind of called it. Seeing there, not going for the cooldown item. Go ahead and get that anti-heal online.
The Surtur did end up going for that Sekhmet Scepter for that first item. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see if that passive would actually work with his the passive healing, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be a little testy. Not too many stats for a first item. In my opinion, definitely would have looked for something with a little bit more health. But who knows? Maybe that extra cooldown and that added power on it will make it a little bit easier. Hold that thought. We might have something going on in duo. The Chiron is pushed up a little bit. He does have his dash up. There it goes. He does get there goes that cleanse from the Geb shield, and he does manage to walk out. There goes the Geb ult, and he might hit the suitor. Oh, he canceled the ult. The Chiron canceled his ult and gave it over to the Tsukiyomi. I don't know if that was intended, but hey, we'll take that. I feel pretty good if I'm the Tsukiyomi there. He finally gets on the board and gets that return shutdown kill on the Robin. That's got to feel pretty good. And then the Uller is actually stepping up here. He might have to be a little bit careful. There might be another fight that comes out. Nope, the Chiron's just going to go ahead and peel for him and reset that fight. And most likely everyone is just going to look to go back to their lanes.
I like the change that we're seeing out of the Order team this time. These more aggressive style picks is forcing them, giving them that little more confidence to take these initiations.
Right.
So we're seeing a little bit of fight back, which I do enjoy.
And we're actually seeing a little bit of aggression coming in out of the Agni. He can hit the stun. There goes the Aegis, hit the other one, and he off the mark. And he might get a little bit punished. His dash is down. Maybe the Tsukiyomi can come in and help him.
Good stun.
Nope, he's just going to go ahead and get him out. Get him nice show face for your teammates there. No need to dive in. The Cthulhu's looking to get a little bit aggressive. We'll probably see another invade coming in with the blue buff coming up. Nope, they're just going to go ahead and settle for the next best thing. That Bull Demon King may be a better prize for the red team. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get this. I believe there's something that you can look to see on how many Bull Demon Kings that they have. I believe that's 2 to mark right now in favor of the Chaos side.
That sounds right. Let me check and see.
A little bit of aggression coming in out of the Uller. A lot of damage coming in out of the Uller. He actually decided to go for a Transcendent start. That's an item that you haven't been really seeing a lot. Really out of any lane, the junglers or the ADCs, and the Uller decides to go for it. A lot of mana to help him spam those stuns. And they do get a double invade on the Chaos side. That's very, very unfortunate for the Order team. A lot of farm that they're missing out from those 2 buffs. That's definitely going to slow down that Chiron a little bit. But I do like the adaptations that the blue team has made here. You are seeing you are seeing some more synergy out of them. Their grouping is a lot better this time around. They are going to find the E-Shell again. She's going to go ahead and use that passive movement speed to walk out of there, no problem.
I think the Order team just they're doing a lot better than in Game 1. They're stepping into these engagements. They're looking for fights. They're just a little bit behind, specifically on their jungle camp timers.
Yes,
but the red team already has that lead, so it does kind of deter you from stepping up for those counter initiations.
Yes, and
good fight in mid.
A good fight in mid. A mid fight is looking to break out. The Spire might be coming up a little bit, so you see a grouping out of the red team. The Cthulhu ult is looking good. The Geb does manage to walk out. The Tsukiyomi goes in. Doesn't find the damage that he's looking for, and he doesn't have the team around him. The shooter shows up a little bit late to the fight. He might be able to get the E-Shell. He does. He looks to go in aggressively. The Blink comes in out of the Robin to see if he can knock down the Agni. Ultimate off the mark, and he gets stunned into the tower. And he does manage to walk out. Shell comes out from the Chiron. Pretty good, and there goes that suitor damage, racking up that blue stone. The Robin does not manage to walk out from there. And the honestly good fight out of the blue team. A very good counter engage, very good initiation. And they
Agni's stepping back up. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know what the Agni's doing there. You're heading back to base, brother, and he's gonna look to buy that second pin item. Most likely that Spear of Desolation. You do see a lot of those first 2 items coming in out of our mid laners, and the E-Shell today just seems to be having a little bit of troubles peeling for themselves. And an objective, OBJ does go in favor of the Order team. They do get their first Bull Demon online. that ward vision will come out for them. You see Geb there knocking down some of that ward vision. There's a fight breaking out in duo, and he does get the snipe over in duo. The Uller, that's one thing that they're going to have to probably check. The Spire's coming up, so another fight is going to look to break out here in mid lane. The Agni falls down to the E-Shell, and the Chiron ult is looking to... That's not going to knock down the Geb. He almost falls to the tower. Tsukiyomi's looking for something here. I don't think that he's going to walk into 4 people there. They're going to capture that beacon and put some of this pressure. I do wish that this Tsukiyomi would go ahead and get that mid lane. Man, that wave just falling towards the tower. That's so much XP and gold just falling for no reason. He does prioritize the buffs. He does manage to get the green buff down, but there's the collapse on him. He's not going to get out, and his ultimate gets burned also. Very, very unfortunate. They're most likely going to go here for the Gold Fury. Them walking out of base. They might be able to make it there in time, but the Agni's going to look for his lane, and maybe the Chiron can look for the snipe.
There's a big
close. Big engage from the Surtur there. They're going to look to push a little bit more. I don't know about that. You're fighting into a lot of healthy targets. The Cthulhu's going to turn around, peel a little bit, and we might just look for a disengage. The Agni is here. The Agni damage just come in. The pin is very shining through, and who knows, we might see some damage, some carry potential coming in out of the Agni. Both ends are looking good here. This is an even match. I would say the least 4K gold is in favor of the red team, but the pressure is looking good. The fight back is looking very good out of the blue team.
They're positioning a little more aggressively, as we've talked about with these picks. They're still just not as coordinated with their engagements as they want to. We saw in that fight in mid, Tsukiyomi kind of went in without Surtur. The front line just went in, Geb Surtur alone, and the Surtur got blown up and had to actually disengage. If you just hold back a little bit, wait for the back line, then maybe we could see a little more success on that side.
Yes, I do agree with you. The blue team could use a little bit more synergy on their timing. Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and fall down. The Agni's going to fall down here, and you're just seeing huge grouping out of the red team. All people are all hands on deck besides that Uller. They're fighting aggressively in here. Here comes the Tsukiyomi. He might manage to get the Robin down. Big damage out of the Suki. They might also get the E-Shell here. They did leave her to fall, but she's returning a lot of damage, and the Suitor goes up. He's looking for the E-Shell. He might be able to get the knock-up. He does, but there goes the peel. They do leave her to die, and maybe the return pick might fall on the Suitor. The ult comes out. He does manage to walk out, and the Chiron might actually fall here. This Tsukiyomi damage is going in. He does manage to get the triple kill out of the Tsukiyomi. He does fall, and maybe the Cthulhu can get this return kill here on the Geb. He's alone. He might have the rollout coming up. They're on cooldowns, and nope. The cooldown is just that. That's 30% coming in out of the Cthulhu compared to the Geb. He doesn't have any cooldown at all, so he definitely does not get to walk out of there for free.
Putting the gas on from the Order side, definitely seeing a bit of success there. Once that Cthulhu all comes out, though, I think that's the key sign that you got to take a breather, take a step back. Looks like a pause coming through. It does,
a pause coming out, and we're going to take a little bit of an advantage of this pause and dissect some of the things that we have here. I would like to see a little bit more cooldown coming in out of the Geb, but then yes, you're looking very good on your items. HP, stack up that HP shield, so we've been seeing that come in very handy for that Tsukiyomi, and a lot of damage coming in out of the Tsukiyomi. That Brawler's Beat Stick is going to do some wonders against that E-Shell. As you can see, they are prioritizing her to go down first. I would like a little bit more pressure on this Uller. He's kind of gone a little bit unchecked. He's sitting there 3-1. He's going to probably have a full cooldown type of build here and is just going to roll across that keyboard, and honestly, most people are not going to be able to stand in front of him. His cooldowns are going to be coming up quite often.
I think that if the Order side is just going to be able to defend their personal buffs a little bit more. This Uller has a 3-level lead simply just because he's been able to get into these the order side purple buff, the green buff, and strip that farm away.
Yeah.
So not only is he getting that extra farm, but Chiron is losing.
He's losing a lot of it. Yeah, I agree with you. That's one thing that that I could agree with you also. For the blue team could do a little bit better. We have been seeing their synergy a little bit more so this game. It's just their backs and their and kind of grouping could just be a little bit quicker, because that red team, they are definitely showing up right as those buff camps spawn, and they are definitely looking for those 3-4-man fights with ultimates in hand.
I think the Order has a pretty solid chance of getting back into this game still. If they can bait out a good Charon ult or a good Cthulhu ult, those big initiation tools that Chaos has, and play well after the fact, because they've been looking good on the gas, but they just need to get those big counters off the table first.
I agree. And they definitely got to stem some of the bleeding on some of these camp invades. Probably they need to get some sentry wards out. You see wards like this are just standing right next to each other. When there's a lot of invading going on, there's definitely a ward sitting right there on that green buff.
Cheeky Pyro.
They know when it up, and Cheeky Pyro is going to come out here. They're going to big HP bars on their 4-man grouping. That's what I was saying earlier. The red team, they're just showing up right when those buffs and right when those OBJs are up, and they are just stacked up. And the little bit of pathing here on the Geb, he's going to have to expend the Geb ult. He does get hit by the Charon ult, and the E-Shell is actually going to get the kill on that one there. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate. They might be able to walk down this tier 1 tower. It's already beyond the halfway point.
I think this is a good defend for them. They have Agni and Sook and Chiron to deter it. They don't really have that burst without the Hunter. Robin's looking for it. They did get the bomb.
They do get the bomb off, and then as you can see, that grouping is coming up. You do have OBJs starting to spawn, your Gold Fury coming up, your Spire coming up as well. Maybe Robin's looking for a quick little back to get an item spike online, grab some wards, or maybe replenish some of that mana. And then they are looking for Suitor here. They're just looking to zone out. I do like the grouping out of the blue team, but a little out of position. They are a little ahead. They're also very spread out on the map, and then that's where you're seeing this punish here. The Charon is going to go ahead and knock that Agni down. Very spread out is the blue team. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication here. The Suitor is going to have to safety ult out, and they managed to get grouped up. But then the red team is perfectly set up to go ahead and knock down this Gold Fury.
If you didn't have all these player models on the map in the way, you would see the amount of vision that the Chaos side has in that jungle. Charon just loops around the green. He knows where everybody is, just catches Agni out. They set up perfectly for a good Gold Fury.
Yep, and the fight is breaking out here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if we were gonna. You go ahead and have your fight breaking out here. The Robin is gonna go ahead and knock down the Tsukiyomi, and then they're starting to throw those level leads around. You have the 18 out of the Uller. No one can really stand in front of him, and then your 16 Cthulhu. The only person that's going to even be somewhat close is going to be that Suitor, and that's the last person that you want to fall on if you are on the blue team. That's where most of your lead is at, or any of your chances to get back into this game. And then the invades are just really coming out.
The only thing I was going to say about that Gold Fury fight is the Geb all comes out a little late. Try to get that steal, try to get that secure.
I can see that.
As a support main, it's really, really risky going for those, because those big ults, those are your counter initiations, those are your defensive moves, and throwing it out for a Gold Fury, you didn't have that tool to try and keep your backline alive after, and that dive just picks up one too many.
Yeah, and then look at this here, look at those graphs, 11k on the XP difference. 8k on the gold difference, and we do have a fight breaking out here. They might manage to get a pick. The Chiron does manage to knock down the Charon, and then they might get this Uller. That is a huge shutdown on the Uller. Go to the perfect person. You definitely want that go over to your ADC, and then they might look for a little bit of a grouping here. If I'm this blue team, I'm definitely looking for this tier 1 tower.
if they know that they have information that the Ishel just backed and Cthulhu just backed, Cthulhu has teleport up, but
Yeah.
I would have called for back and try to play for this fire giant. You know that 2 of their guys are going to be out for just a bit longer.
Yeah.
You have a bit more of that burst with the Agni and the Chiron for that secure as well. So maybe try to bait them in, because in these counter initiations, the Order's been seeing a lot of success in their fights.
Yes, I completely.
Not the initial fight, but the after the fact.
Yeah, they've been seeing more success here. They do decide to get that tier 1 tower back, replenish on some wards, sentry wards this time, which is good. And they're going to set up for this FG, but if they're not there in time, they're going to hand over this Pyro to the Chaos team, and a little bit of separation on the Order side that you wouldn't like to see. But then they do manage to get here in time for a successful defend. Agni has to be very careful. He's level 15, staring down a level 18 E-Shell. One of those abilities connects. He's definitely finding a trip back to base. He does get his beads back, beads and Aegis off of him, and he is just left to die there. The Geb really can't do anything. Does manage to get the Geb ult off. A lot of return damage on the Robin. He ults back to get back to his teammate. The Tsukiyomi is in the back line. Does manage to get the kill on the E-Shell. And there goes the masterful shot on the Robin from the Chiron. This is looking to be a very decent fight out of the blue team. If they can manage to push a little bit further into this, they might just look for a Pyro here. Maybe this tier 1 tower. They do decide to go for the Pyromancer, and that's probably the right call. Uller is getting a big split push there in the left side.
That was a really, really good fight by Order. I thought that they were actually going to lose a little bit more than they did. They do have that Uller split pushing in the left, so they do lose that tier 2. But they do pick up the Pyromancer, so that's a decent enough trade, 2 for and a Pyro for a Teams 2 left, not too bad. And they're going in again?
They're going in again. That might be a little aggressive. Red team is respawning out of base here. They should be looking to reset, get some wards out, and look to find where this next fight is going to be. Most likely around the Gold Fury. They do get the Oracle Vision on the Gold Fury. This Suitor is standing up a little bit ahead. He's depending on a level 16 Agni for follow-up damage. I'm not sure if he's going to get out in time. No, he does not. A little bit too much on that wind-up. And look at those levels. The Uller is a level 20. He can kind of walk in. Oh, that's a very aggressive ult out of the Tsukiyomi. Does manage to get the Aegis and the Shell, but there's no one around him. He's going to just go ahead and knock down and the Cthulhu ult for extra measure, and they're going to go ahead and walk over to this Gold Fury, and that's definitely going to go over to them. Or maybe not.
That's why I'm the certified Tsukuyomi hater. His ult just forces him to get in there. He has no tools to get out after the fact, and so it's just a hard commit. And when the team can group up and focus you after you come out of that ultimate, it's very rare that you see Tsukuyomi be able to turn those situations around.
And get out alive. I agree. He should definitely be looking to play a little bit more around his Geb, or maybe the Geb can step up a little bit more with the Tsukiyomi. He does manage to get that Pride one online, so there's going to be more cooldown coming from the Geb. Oh, and actually the Robin is going to have to ult out. The Chiron is sending the masterful shots. Oh, doesn't hit the ultimate there. And doesn't connect. Probably wouldn't have killed. The Robin still had, or actually maybe the Robin had no Aegis on the Robin, so maybe. But then let's go ahead and look at some of these builds here that are coming out during the next, or I don't think there's going to be a team fight breaking out over this fire. The Geb is stepping up. This is very questionable from the Geb. I don't know what he's looking for here. The Tsukiyomi is here. They can look for a fight. But those are very, very tanky people that they're dealing with. Chiron. Beads off of Uller, really good. Good axe stun coming out. Decent damage half hit on the Chiron. Both teams have to be a little bit more careful. There's more damage coming online on both ends. I definitely would have liked to see a Soul Reaver come out of the Agni, the Chiron, or the Charon and the Cthulhu, or massive HP targets. It's going to take a lot to shred through them. He's still trying to stack up that Charon's coin, looking at one stack to the E-Shell's 5. Fight breaking out over here at the Fire Giant. Ult comes out of the...
Good Charon.
Good Charon ult. They do manage to get the Tsukiyomi out, but like he said, he's in. Even if he's at 1 HP, he's out of there. This is a massive fight for the red team. They might get the deicide here. They're gonna dive in.
Chase is on.
He's gonna dive in. He's gonna get the the beats and the Aegis. If he can hit some of those basics, and there it is. There's the deicide. Honestly, I respect the fight out of the Fire Giant side. You play for the defend. You think that you're sitting fairly decent on a fight there, but it's gonna have a lot of knockdown. That's probably gonna be the game. Just kudos to the red team, really bringing in the pressure. Nice, valiant effort by the blue team. A little bit more on their teamwork on that second match, but it just wasn't enough to match to that red team pressure.
They saw a lot more success in those matching aggression with aggression style. I think if they're able to turn it and play a little bit more aggressive, try to play a little earlier, I think that could spell a lot of success for the Order Stack team.
Yes, I agree. I do know with us casting here, a lot of these things are in hindsight, but then I do think both teams played really well. The red team, they definitely came to play, brought their A game. You can see they went for some of those comfort picks, bringing that Cthulhu and Charon out both matches, and two great performances on them. But I do like some of the clapback that the blue team had last game. They definitely have some things that they have to work on. A little bit of that synergy, showing up to those buffs, knowing how to stem some of the losing, some of the bleeding, I'll say, when you're getting invaded. But good games on both ends. Let's look at some of these charts.
The Chaos side in that game, as well as game one, just did not let off the gas. Didn't get an inch of breathing room, and so they played their leads exceptionally well.
You can definitely see that that's one of their strong suits. Once they get that lead, they are going to push down on that gas pedal, and even if they have a little bit of a clapback, they're still going. So good matches there. I do think that we're getting a 2 out of 3. Let me confirm that really fast. I do think we have a disband. Yes, I do think that that's going to be the last one. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. I'm Calder. It's been a pleasure casting with you here, Riggs. First cast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everyone out there. And GG's to everyone. And we will hopefully see each other around and catch you in the next one.
Peace.
All right, peace out, brothers.